Hi everyone, welcome to the Numerology and the Astrology for May 12th, 2020. So if you add up all those numbers, you get the number 12. If you add 1 and 2 together, you get the number 3. And this number is the number of positive mind. It's the number of hope. It's the number that represents that you are always at personal choice in every moment to find something positive in a complicated and distorted reality. That is why getting back to what is consistent and what you can rely upon is essential. So, what can you rely on as an anchor in this stormy emotional reality? You can rely on nature. You can rely on everything that is untouched by mankind. Wildness, while unpredictable in its movement, is not completely random. There is an order to the natural world. It is not trying to mess with your mind. It is not trying to confuse you. Wildness may try to avoid you or kill you, but most of the time it prefers to watch you from a distance. Humanity has a tendency to want to manipulate your perception and intentionally create doubt. Once that happens, that person has an access to your mind and can twist your feelings and destabilize your connections between this world and your soul's connection to it. While sometimes that is necessary to break down ego and to break down severe dysfunction, it is not always the best way to go. Okay, so thought viruses are more contagious than COVID. They are insidious and spread at a rapid rate. That is why stepping back from opinions becomes, again, essential in maintaining stability in unstable times, because these moments are increasingly distorted and a type of toxicity is spreading. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know. And there are a lot of things that I do not know. But I can discern information that is intelligently designed to be inflammatory. Sorry, let's try that whole sentence again. But I can discern information that is intentionally designed to be inflammatory and hook emotions and minds. All things presented in certain ways should be immediately suspect. It matters not if they are valid, because the intention is to snare the energy of a soul and to manipulate it for purposes that are not for the good of the person or the whole. That is what we need to look for at this time in history. The hook, the trap, the intentional stripping away of your energy from your soul, the information that exhausts you, makes you want to collapse, makes you want to give up. I feel right now that we are each walking through a minefield filled with snares, traps, riddles, and bombs. It becomes essential to get out of the minefield and to the other side, but you have to pick your path carefully with forethought, planning, and a strategy. Things that might seem minor are actually disguised and could have tragic consequences. In such moments, you have to keep your wits about you. You have to stay calm. You have to believe that you can pass through the minefield. You cannot allow yourself to fall for the obvious or the subtle manipulations designed to lure you into a place where others can feed off your energy. Fear spreads faster than a virus. To counter that fear, you have to believe in yourself and your intentions. You cannot allow others to take you down a path that they say is safe. No pathways that are sheer opinions are safe for you or anyone. Especially now, it becomes essential to keep your own counsel and to follow the promptings of your guides and angels. Listen to your heart. Do good things when you feel prompted by your guides and angels. Stay clear of energies that want to hook, manipulate, or lure you into places that reflect their own suffering and that unconsciously intend to cause you suffering. There is quite enough suffering in this world. The world needs those that walk a path and those that will not fall for the classic ways that historically mankind has used to control populations through fear and anger. Hold on to the positive energy of the number 3 today. Maintain hope. Believe in yourself and your path. That way you will have no one to blame and you will discover the uncharted potential of your soul. Okay, so the astrology for today. Tuesday is good at getting serious and finding some things to communicate with those you love. New actions are not advised. It would be better to turn off your phone and tell everyone to go away while you focus on an activity that requires your total attention. Mercury is in Gemini and forms a trine to Saturn. You will feel as if there are many things pulling on you on the practical level. Be realistic as to what you intend to take on as projects. You are learning how to do new things, and such moments take great communication with others. Be centered and use less words rather than more. Keep the personal out of tasks that require you to be instructive. Keep your expectations low and just do the next thing that presents. That way you get lots done. This is great for your concentration and your ability to take actions that are executed correctly. Stay the course and be diligent in your approaches. While with the Aquarius moon, you want to feel like organized in sort of an unusual way that are intellectually stimulating. Social issues arise and you will feel drawn to a cause. The moon conjunct Saturn, and some of you may still notice this type of lethargy, depression, melancholy, and a feel as if the world is no longer so friendly. Know that there are those out there that are attempting to reach out also. You are not alone, and there are others out there that can reach out that will help you move out of the feelings of limitation and into a place where there is optimism and potential. Find your tribe, find your people. You know, the people that are not your tribe cannot help you through certain things because they honestly don't know and they don't know the path. Mars goes into Pisces, and as you fall asleep, it's kind of nice because tomorrow you're going to be asked to be more reliable and steady. Quite a task in such a moment. If you feel you are failing, you might shift into an overly sensitive and volatile way of responding. Let your self-control guide you into a more friendly expression of kindness. So my quotes for today, I had two. And one of them is, wildness may try to avoid you or kill you, but most of the time it prefers to watch you from a distance. And that is true of our own internal wildness. You know, I find that sometimes my wildness is stalking about my inner sanctum, and I feel like something is kind of challenging me to step away from the mundane. My second quote is that humanity has a tendency to want to manipulate your perception and intentionally create doubt. That's a really important one. Humanity has a tendency to want to manipulate your perception and intentionally create doubt. That's being used in spades, like on so many levels. And so, again, go into your inner sanctum and your inner space. Okay, my blog for today. In my life, I have repeatedly experienced a pattern where people or things try to place me in a position and pigeonhole me. This was really true in the theater, and you see this with actors and actresses also, that, they're kind of known for a particular role, and then everyone sees them as that role, and then they actually are not that character, but they have to keep, like, every time somebody meets them, they kind of expect the character rather than the person that they really are. And this was true in ballet too for me, because I was incredibly tall for a ballet dancer, and so I couldn't be Giselle, I can't be 12, I can't I can't do certain roles because I'm not a perky, bouncy, petite, young looking person. I've always kind of had this old ancient wisdom soul, and so at a certain point, my roles in ballet were just repeating, which was one of the reasons that I actually retired, because while I love those roles and they were great, it's sort of like you instinctively know that you're more than that and you have to reach past that. So I experience when people want to place me in a position or pigeonhole me or limit me or define me or whatever you want to call it, I experience such agenda as being not just unacceptable, but vile to the deepest part of my core. because I don't think anybody is just what you perceive them to be. I don't think anybody is. I mean, I think that you can only perceive somebody from a level that you understand, but there's probably hundreds more levels and layers that are going on in absolutely every person. So my experience is that I try really hard to allow people the space to grow. But I also don't like any projections that are put on me, that say I'm, that's how she is or whatever, kind of thing. So, and I try not to do that to other people. I try and give them that wiggle room to grow and evolve. But when they keep doing the same patterns over and over again, it's really hard. And that's actually when I step away, because it's like we're just doing the same dance, and I'm like, not that I don't like the Texas two-step, but we're doing the same dance. And, isn't there another dance in there? There might be some other energy in there that might be interesting. Okay, so I notice that limitations are placed in many ways and many means. I think that it is our body and our circumstances that are restrictive, but people are also highly influential on us. They show us what is acceptable behavior to them, and they expect us to emulate that behavior so they can become comfortable. But it often feels like putting on a coat that not only doesn't fit, but you don't like it, and it smells like something old and dead. Over and over again, I watch people choose their past suffering as if it is somehow comfortable. What it is to me is barely bearable. And what kind of life is that you're looping and looping and looping on something that constantly causes you pain? When we are young, we want to emulate those that love us and those that we look up to. And again, this is a level of brain development, and we are creating neurological pathways that will allow us to lay a foundation for what we want and like and who we are to become. And while those experiences are so important and a critical piece, there is a level that you must stand on the shoulders of your own foundation, honor those that have helped you define those important things of your life, but then rearrange those stones in the manner of your liking. And yes, it is a lot of work to do that, a type of work that many would rather not do and stay numb and asleep. I have never been able to do that. I am constantly rearranging stones. I have had so many try to define me as something that is there to help them become great. But I am great, and I believe that you are great too. And you have to rearrange those stones to discover your creative greatness within. Some stones you have to completely throw away because they were given to you by another, but not something that you actually are going to need or even use in this life. And that is often very hard. My father told me that I was supposed to be an engineer like him. He wanted me to go back to school and get a real job. I see it as a concern for him, that he wanted me to be safe and secure so that he did not have to worry about me. And that was the sweetheart message that was underneath that behavior. And so I always try and look at what somebody's sweetheart message is in the projection, okay? But I took those stones that he had given me and so many other people had helped me with, and I turned them into being an engineer for consciousness. I wanted to understand the structure of enlightenment and understanding. You have stones within that can also be retooled and reformed in what will inspire your greatness. I have a chisel and a hammer. You're welcome to them.